Hey everybody! Today we are going to dissect this insane checkmate for beginner to intermediate players such as myself. My opponent starts off the game with pawn e4. I reply with pawn c5, the Sicilian defense. He then tries to scare me by pushing his queen to h5, but luckily we stay calm and hit him with knight to f6, attacking his queen. He places his queen over my knight, getting it to safety. I try to hit him with a sneaky move by pushing my pawn to d5, attacking his pawn and also opening up my bishop, allowing a direct lane to his queen. Unfortunately, he sees what I was planning and moves his queen to safety, but that's no biggie because I reply with my knight to c6 to develop some of my pieces. After he moves his pawn to d3, I move my knight to b4, attempting a fork on his king and his rook. He counters this by moving his knight to a3, which shuts down my plan. I decide to move my pawn to e4, taking his pawn, which he also takes with his pawn. I attempt another attack on his queen by moving knight to h5. He retreats his queen directly in line with my queen, so I decide to try to attack his pawn in the middle. He develops his bishop to d3 and I reply by pushing my pawn to e5 to try and gain some control in the middle of the board. He brings his knight to f3, and I reply with moving my knight right under his. He then decides to castle, but he doesn't know that will create danger for him later on in the match. Ha ha ha. I develop my bishop to d6. He then brings out his g-pawn to attack my knight, which weakens his pawn structure. I check him with my knight to h3, making him move his king in the corner. Oh, it's not looking good for him. I bring out my bishop to g4, developing my attack on his cornered king and also attacking his naked knight. He retreats his knight to the back of the board, allowing me to castle due to the tempo. I guess he doesn't like my knight being there, so he tries to attack it. I decide to take his bishop, which he then takes my knight with his queen. I then try to develop an attack with my pawns, but I gave one up for free, which then leads an attack on my queen. Yikes, he got me sweating a little bit over here. I move my queen to a safe position, but he decides to take my bishop. Oh well, me got one of my pieces, but this allows me to pin his knight to his queen. He moves his queen, attack my queen, which allows me to take his knight for the freeskis, which I do with no hesitation. He brings his bishop out, attack my rook, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't see this masterpiece I am coming up with. Do you guys see what I am about to do? I sacrifice my rook in two ways, allowing his knight and queen to take my queen, but I have my rook getting ready to ride out for my queen. He took my queen with his queen, so I reply with taking his queen with my rook. He thinks his knight is going to be there to attack my rook when I take his queen. Little does he know, I want him to take my innocent rook, his knight, because then that allows me to checkmate his king with both my knight and bishop, leaving him nowhere to go. Luckily, he fell for that trap, allowing his knight to give up the only square on the board, keeping him alive in the game. Just like that, it is a GG.